All right, y'all, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in this week. If you caught last week's video, you saw where I built my custom 360 LiveScope system for my kayak, and super cool build. If you didn't see that video, you're definitely gonna wanna go check that build out. But today, it's been 3 days since I made that video. I've been dying to try this thing out on the water. So today we're gonna go put it on the water. It's super cold outside. I've only got a few hours to actually go out there and do some fishing, but I'm gonna test out my new setup with the Garmin 1242. I just installed this yesterday. But before we leave the house, I wanna kinda show you, I made a few small adjustments to how I'm gonna be able to travel up and down the highway with this system I built, and it kinda locks everything into place. So, you know, I don't wanna accidentally sling a $2,000 LiveScope off my kayak. So I made it so it should lock into place and travel really well. And I'll show you kind of the setup we're taking with us out on the water today. And then we're gonna get in the truck and head to the river. So in last week's video, I built this awesome 360 unit for my LiveScope setup. I tore apart a 360 drive, and now my transducer pops right in down to this hole, and I get to use my side control that used to turn my drive system, but now it actually turns my 360 system here, my LiveScope. So anyway, since then I've added a few things. I added this bungee cord here, and this is actual Hobie stuff too. This was off one of my older Hobies that I had in the drawer, but it worked out great because now we can use the pins for this thing. They'll sit in there so it won't go side to side, and now I can take this strap, pull it over, and actually lock it into place. So now it's not gonna pop out of there. It's gonna be held down tight for when we're traveling up and down the road, and it keeps a low profile and it won't hang out from up under the boat. I also ran all of my wires. So for my graph and my transducer wire, everything runs right through here up to the front. And in the front cab, you know, I've got my black box and all mounted up there. You guys have seen that before. Today we're gonna be going after some crappie. Hopefully, I don't know how the fishing is on the water right now. I hadn't been in a couple of weeks, but I did load up this drawer. I got me some of the good stuff. If the crappie are there, we're definitely gonna catch some. And I should be able to record everything with this LiveScope. So I'll be able to actually screen record and put it on the video hopefully today. And I just threw a bag together just in case the crappie ain't biting. I've got some worms and a few other rods we're gonna bring with us. But for now, I'm just gonna throw it in my Blackpack here. And we're gonna grab the truck and head to the lake. I almost forgot my crappie rods. I'm bringing 2 of these guys today. All right guys, the wind has definitely picked up since we left the house, so I hope the audio is just not horrible, but we made it out to the lake, just left the boat ramp, and I realized that I didn't transfer any of my waypoints from my old Garmin unit to this new Garmin unit, so now I've got to refine my treetops out here, but I've got the LiveScope. It shouldn't be hard to find them. I know about where some of these are at, and maybe we can find some crappie on there. But before we get into it, I want to show you guys how this thing worked out. And now we should be able It's just a little protective boot I got off Amazon for it. I'm gonna drop it in the hatch there. Now we should be able to pull this off. And then I need to turn this, make sure it's still straight. And then I also want to make sure my dial is straight for my pointer. When we drop it in, I'm not used to seeing water down here. I've had that block off plate here for a long time. Now, let's see. Let's drop it in. Click it in place, get water all over me. Now we can boot up. So I gotta turn my power on right here. My graph is number 1 and S is for my LiveScope sonar. And I do have a different transducer plugged into this up under the boat. So if I don't want to run the LiveScope transducer, I can still use my, what is it, the 54, I believe I've got up under the kayak. So I've got 2 transducers running to this unit. Now we're gonna boot up. This is the first time I've booted this unit up on the water. I really wish I'd have transferred all my waypoints, but I did not. And this wind is picking up. But now I'm eager to see how well this thing. I'm gonna turn the dial. Y'all see my arrow turn? This should work really well. Give this unit time to boot up. There's some sort of bass tournament going on out of the ramp that I put in at today. There's about 10 trucks there, and I'm seeing some boats on the water, so they must be having like a little private tournament out of this ramp. Let's boot up. Agree. We're gonna install the software later. Now I think I've got number 1 set up for my LiveScope. All right, man, that screen is so much bigger than my other ones. But now let's see how it turns. Yes, sir. Now I'm just gonna get it dialed in. Well, first, you know what I'm gonna do? Let's try this helm system out. All right, y'all, I found one of the trees, or the brush piles. So I'm gonna start recording right here so you can see it, and I'll put it actually on the screen. Hit record. And now y'all should be able to see that brush pile that I'm talking about. I hate the audio's bad, guys, but the wind is just crazy out here. But I'm gonna try to, there you go. And we'll zoom in on it a little bit right here and see if we can pull a few crappie off of it. It does look like there's some fish on it, so let's just see if we can get a few. This wind is crazy. Chased it all the way there. That's all right. We're dialed in pretty good. All right, we're having to make a few changes. I've been fishing this treetop for a little while. This wind is just crazy. And I got off spot lock for just a second because I broke off in the treetop. And now I got to refine my tree again. I keep forgetting to mark it. I'm gonna try one of these. What are they called? What's this color called? Electric Chicken 2-inch snacky swimmer. It's a Guggen bait. Let's give it a shot. And I'm going straight braid because I broke my whole leader off this and I didn't bring any leader line with me. So that may mess this up. Now let's see if I can find my tree. There it is. Slow down, coming in hot. All right, I made it back to the brush pile. The wind is just getting worse and worse out here. I'm hoping that I can even make a video out of this, but there is definitely, as you can tell, fish all over this brush pile, and I'm right to the left of it, so I'm gonna try to get on it. I didn't throw quite far enough. See the fish stacked on the back side back there though? That looks promising. Those might even be bass. Those look pretty big. Man, they are stacked back there. That could be bass. Let's see if I can get over there. 24 feet out. Right there. Might be the back side of it. Yep, all right, I'm coming down. Right now, you guys see me right behind them. And I'm just gonna drop it on their level and just reel through. I got one following. Oh, he hit it and missed it. God, let me get back down there. All right, back on the back side of them. Where am I at? This wind is crazy, y'all. Here comes one after it. Oh, he was a good sized crappie too. Yeah, there's some big crappie in there. This wind is nuts. Oh, he had it and I pulled it out of his freaking mouth. All right, I jiggled that one a little bit and they came for it, so maybe I got to put a little jiggle in it. It started to wake me up a little bit, so I might get off the water a little bit early. I didn't expect this wind. The wind was supposed to be gone by lunch. I'm gonna mess around a little bit. If I do catch one, I'll throw it in the video, but if not, I'm gonna catch back up with you guys in the shop and we'll go over this setup and found a few little things that I might change, a few little things that might need tweaking, but overall, this thing is freaking awesome. I'll catch up with you guys back at the shop. All right, guys, I'm back at the shop. I have no idea where that storm came from. It was supposed to be all gone by 12 o'clock. Like the wind was just supposed to come through and it's supposed to be nice after 12. That was not the case. It seems like every single time I want to take this kayak out and do some filming, I get hit with a crazy storm. If you guys remember a couple of months ago, the trapped in a tornado while we were tent camping out on Lake Gunnersville.
Holy cow, guys. We were just hit.
That thing came out of nowhere too. But anyway, I got back, by the time I got back to the boat ramp yesterday, the water was white capping, like right by the dock where I was trying to take out. It was crazy, but this thing worked out great. I did promise you guys that I would go over any modifications or tweaks that I might do to it. So far, everything that I've done works really well. The strap for towing it works really well. It clips in really well, and it works with the knob. I'm not gonna say really well on that one. I'm gonna say good. I did notice that it does aim in the direction that I need it to aim, and I can quickly find my lure once I throw it out there. But since the teeth on these gears are so far apart, there is a little bit of slop I've noticed when you're, not once you're there, but whenever you're going from left back to right. So if you turn right with this dial and you're on the fish and then the wind blows you and you need to go back left, when you go left, there's a little bit of slop right in between there. So if I build one of these in the future from scratch, which I'm planning on doing, so y'all stick around, I'm gonna see what it's gonna take for me to actually fabricate one of these from scratch, and so you don't have to tear apart one of these very expensive drive systems. But if I do that, I may do it with a tighter gear mesh. That way, and if I do that, I'll have to change the actual gear that's built into the kayak, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But when I do build it, if I can figure out a way to make these teeth actually a little bit tighter, a little bit closer together, it should clean up a lot of that slop. But overall, there is nothing wrong with this at all. Like, that's just me being nitpicky. This thing worked great. I absolutely love the fact that whenever I got there and I got on the water, it was instant. I was instantly able to get my LiveScope into the water. I didn't have any poles hanging off the side, any brackets to pull out of the water. Whenever I changed spots and I wanted to run my Newport Vessels motor off the back and I just kind of wanted to speed up and go across the lake, I just left this in the water because it's so low profile. As long as you're in deep water, not in shallow water, it's not gonna drag you down. It's not gonna turn the boat. It was just a really thin profile up under the boat, and it worked really well. So I'm happy with this thing, guys. A lot of you have reached out and said you're gonna build one of these. If you do, send me the pictures of your builds on Instagram. I would love to see what you come up with for this. I think this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna use it again this weekend. Hopefully I don't bring the storms with me, but that's gonna do it for this week's video, y'all. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you watching. If you're new to my channel, stick around, hit subscribe. I upload new videos every Monday at 6 p.m. and I will catch you guys next week. Peace.